Hello, welcome. This is Nutmeg Podcast, and this segment is Fans Corner. Today we are discussing Barcelona. Hansi Flick's Barcelona are flying high. In April, they are still challenging for three titles, and we're recording this a day before the Atletico Madrid second leg game in the Copa del Rey. If they win, it means the Barca are still challenging for the treble once again. I've got one huge Barcelona fan to do this with me, Kwamina. Later, we'll be joined by another Barcelona fan and we'll do this discussion. So, if you like this discussion, drop your comments and like this video. Kwamina, good to see you. Kwamina, can you hear me?
Okay, it's been a great season, and then we've already won one trophy. We beat Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup, I think. Yeah, and then we are having a fantastic season, so we are gearing up. And then Hansi Flick, in his recent interview, said if we can beat Atletico Madrid tomorrow, then we can dream of getting the treble for this season, which a lot of Barcelona fans are anticipating for this season.
I mean, yeah, I get it. And I think that speaking of that Atletico Madrid game, if you were talking like this a month ago, I'm not sure would be having this confidence, and Hansi Flick probably would be saying that if we win this game, we are winning the treble because after that 4-4 uh,
Oh,
draw and even a defeat to Atletico Madrid in the La Liga really cast doubt on the season and how it's going to fare. But I mean, after a month, everything is going on well. In fact, we entered the last break with the 4-2 win away at Atletico Madrid. Charlie, I think
yes.
it's incredible. What have you made of the season so far in total? How do you assess the performance of this team?
Well, we started the season very well, and then we started the season off with some top players being absent. Frankie De Jong wasn't available, and then we had to slot in Casado and Mark Bernal. It got to a time Bernal got injured, Casado took over, and then it's quite been an okay journey so far, and then we've been able to even win a trophy. And then you see, we started off with a new system too. Hansi Flick came in, and then now we are playing with a 4-2-3-1, which is not the normal tradition for FC Barcelona. We all know Barcelona starts in their game, or their starting lineup comes with a 4-3-3 formation, and a lot of people were criticizing Hansi Flick for playing that wicked high line. And then we started playing the high line, and then it was paying off until match day 13 when we met Real Sociedad, and then they made the high line ineffective. I remember we lost that game 1-0, and one thing that they did was to let a midfielder run in between the defenders by beating our offside trap. And then after that game, we lost a couple of games. We drew a couple of games. I think in about 6 games, I remember we took 6 points out of 24 points in the game
Yeah.
before we bounced back. And then one thing that Flick did was to instruct his fullbacks to push higher up the field and then press inward when we are not with the ball. That helped the team to create a lot of overloads in the midfield. And also, he instructed Lewandowski to drop deep to join the midfielders when pressing, and then allow the young guns, Lamine Yamal and then Rafinha, with so much energy to lead the press when we are not with the ball. And then we've seen Kubasi coming in playing so well. Inigo Martinez being my best defender so far in the season. He's been standout in the league, like top performance, clearance, passes, and everything. But we can't write off what Kubasi has done, and then especially what Pedri is doing for Barcelona right now. Now he's becoming cool with winning man of the match without scoring goal, and then assisting after match, and then people are complaining. Yes, it's FC
See,
Barcelona, and this is
that
what.
yeah, not to cut you, but that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you don't see him very instrumental. I mean, So I mean, not to say that, but playing crucial roles in chance goal scoring and assisting. Lamine Yamal has been doing that very very well. Rafinha, Lewandowski, but Pedri, he's that guy who orchestrates everything. He starts everything, and I think the one thing that people are not really seeing is his recovery rate. He's so good when he's recovering the ball, detecting the play, playing, keeping the ball away from the opponent. And sometimes people don't understand why he's always winning the man of the match awards. It's not just about the
Yes.
numbers, but if you want to see how Barcelona are playing, you have to watch Pedri to see what he does for the team. And I think it's incredible. For me, I think that this team is not Lamine Yamal's team. It's not Rafinha's team. It's not Lewandowski's
Yes.
team. It's Pedri's team. He he's sort of he is the key. If Pedri is not in the game, I don't see how Hansi Flick Barca are
Struggle.
playing. I don't see how
Struggle.
I don't really see this because he's so good with the passing, creating chances, keeping the ball, and the way he drives the team forward. It's amazing. You talk about the playing style, and that is the most important thing in Hansi Flick's time this year, because I think that we are not really away from the Barcelona style, the Xavi style. We are not far away from it, but there are some clear differences and some small details that he's introduced, and that has been the game changer. And you mentioned the high line. I mean, it was so surprising to me that he started with this, because for me, when he was coming for this job, one thing I was really scared of is the physicality of the team, the fitness of the team. And to play highline, you need players that are fast, that can win one-on-one situations. Yes, we have Ronaldo Araujo, but what about Bardi? What about Kunde? Sometimes he is not really good in those positions. But I mean, I think Paul Kubasi has been fun. That guy is so underrated. He's so underrated. But the highline, Charlie, how did he make this thing so perfect? Because look, this stats will just marvel you. Barca have had their opponent in offside traps 140 times this season. The second, that's the
Yes.
best in Europe. The second to them is Parma in Italy. That's eight times. We didn't see this coming. I mean, even at Bayern, if Bayern was so good and has, but they were not doing this. Why do you think he deployed this tactic?
Well, in his interviews, Flick kept on saying the only way Barcelona can win trophies this season is to play that high line. And I think it's because of the players that he has at his disposal. You see, playing that high line gives you much freedom to actually suffocate your opponent. And you know, a lot of
Yeah,
La Liga teams, when you really press them very well, they are not comfortable with it. Although they are cool on the ball and then they are composure. But one thing that is key to this wicked high line is the retention and then recovery rate. You see, back then in our old under our old coaches, when we lose ball, we don't really press hard for the ball. We only maintain our shape, our defensive shape, and then our defensive line, and then we only draw on the attackers to press. But this time around, we are also dependent on the fullbacks when we are pressing, because when we are pressing and when we are without the ball, you see our fullbacks shifting into the midfield to create a lot of overloads. We see Lewandowski dropping and then allowing Rafinha and then Lamine Yamal to actually chase the ball from the back of the opponent, and then Pedri becomes free with Marc Casado or Frankie de Jong also keeping tabs on players who would play the ball to their striker. So which helps us retain the ball very quickly. And then one thing about this system too is that we don't need a lot of passes to score goal. Just a simple pass from the back. A simple pass from the back, then we are deadly. And then we have crucial players like Lamine Yamal who can take on opponents. We have Rafinha who has regained his confidence, and then he's really on a fantastic form. Even Ferran Torres comes off from the bench and then believers at all. Now the mentality of the team has changed, and now what they only think about is putting the ball at the back of them. They don't need 50 passes to put the ball. Just a single pass can even create a chance for the attackers to score.
It's beautiful. It's very very beautiful, and I mean you when you are watching them now, there's no panic. You get it. And recently against
That's it.
Girona, they scored the first. They considered the equalizer, but you always know that there's something coming. You always know that the team will find a way to score a goal and score and score and score
Yes,
again.
and that's
And
the mentality and then the character. That's the mentality and the character. In every football game, before you can win a match, you need to be mentally strong. You need to have that character, and then sometimes history plays a part of it. So having these three things actually helps you as a team to help. One thing that I've also realized in this team is that eh, look at how they've really bonded well. Like everybody feels part of the team. And then if you have a team like that, it really helps the team to go and enjoy because we have such a young line. But one thing that he has been very, very good about is to blending the old guns and then the young lads. And now look at Kunde. At first, Kunde was complaining of playing in that right fullback position, but right now he says he wants to be the best fullback in the world. Then
as for
he,
as for
he
Kunde, as for Kunde, I didn't really understand him because for me, I describe him as an attacking defender. When he was at Sevilla, remember
yeah,
there was a game we played at Ramon Sanchez,
yes,
and the game he threw the ball at Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba,
Yeah, you remember that
yes,
that fight with him and Jordi Alba.
I
That
remember that
game,
game.
he scored a first goal. If you look at how he moved from his own box, drove the team forward, and entered Barca's um, area to score that goal. I mean, those goals are scored by few defenders. I mean, you don't really see this happening. And
It's
the way
true.
he was so instrumental in the attack, it made sense that Barca will use him as a right. But I guess
Right
it was a
back.
matter of, I mean, it was accidental, but it really makes sense. He's the best guy to do this job. So I didn't really understand why he was driving away from this. Javi did made the right decision to put him there, and Hansi Flick
Yeah.
has also followed that up.
Yes.
I mean, as for that transition from Javi to Hansi Flick, I think that there's been few changes, but the changes
Changes.
have been the big ones, and they've been very very crucial. So from the back again, Jules Kunde playing on the right hand side, that is fantastic, and playing Casado and up. I mean, changing to the double pivot. I don't want to dwell on Casado because it looks like Frankie Dion is even back to keep his position.
Back. Yes.
Something I
Yes.
didn't really see
Yes.
happening.
Dijon is back.
So
Dijon is back.
deploying the double pivot in Pedri plus whoever is deemed fit or available. So maybe Casado or Frankie Dion. Javi's last season, he was complaining about missing Sergio Busquets and not having that DM to play what he wanted to play. But I mean, you discovered Paul Kubasi, you discovered Lamine Yamal, Fermin, and the other guys. Why didn't he trust Casado to at least play in that deep role for him? You get it.
Well,
Why didn't he
well,
trust him?
I think it was because of the pressure at that time, and then looking at what Madrid was doing, Barcelona needed to do something, and then, Xavi really loves Barcelona. One thing that really didn't help Xavi was that his emotions, because of his love for the club, sometimes he was taking decisions that weren't helping the club, especially his gaming management. Sometimes because of he clearly, instead of him to stay calm and then being composed, I mean, look at Flick. Sometimes you would see that there is a lot of pressure on the team, but Flick would just be at the touchline and then calm, composed.
Yeah,
Look at even how Xavi was taking a lot of yellow cards last season.
yeah,
So one thing that really
red
didn't
cards.
help
Yeah.
Xavi was his emotions, and at that time the pressure was too much on Xavi to trust Casado. But you see, Flick is an experienced coach, and then he knows how teams transit from that stage to another stage. I mean, look at how he has shaped Rafinha. Rafinha is now playing like he's a world best
Okay.
contender. He's on top of his game. Look at Ferran. Ferran, who was always shy away from goal, now whatever he touches is gold. So
Yeah.
I mean everything is working. And even Lewandowski at some point he wasn't really giving us the goals, but I understand because a lot was demanded from him. He wasn't only supposed to be scoring, but also help the team in a collective way, which not every striker can do that. Lewandowski is not that type of striker like Suarez, who can engage himself in the build up a lot, and then he's a finisher. So if you add a lot of things to him, it's really going to affect him. Look at how we've turned things around. It's mind blowing. And then the question people ask is, how long is Barcelona going to keep that consistency? And then one question that you ask yourself is, do we have weaknesses? Yes, we do. But then our strength surpasses our weakness. So
Passes.
once
Yeah,
our yes,
we'll come to that.
okay,
Kwamina, we'll come
okay,
to that. But it's very good that
okay,
you mentioned that our strength outweighs them.
yes,
And before we get into that, I think that the job is getting into Hansi Flick even more than Xavi. Yeah, Xavi was so emotional, and it's one thing that it's really interesting about Barcelona. This is someone at Bayern Munich who was so strict and you didn't see him emotional at the touchline. But you look at him, he's been running up and down, rolling on the
yes,
floor, hugging players.
yes,
So I think he's really enjoying the job, and it's so interesting to see how he's done it. He's come into the club, made himself that father figure to these players, and it's very important because some of these guys, I mean, they were the guys we wanted out. Rafinha, I mean, Gerard Martin, for example. And you see,
Martin, he has really surprised me. Like
he's brought he's brought all
he
of
has
them
really surprised me.
he's brought all of them to the same level. Now Gerard Martin can start a game against Girona and play, and Barca will win. He can rotate and play Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia, who's
Yes,
so jittery and
Garcia.
full of mistakes, he can play. And one thing I really appreciate is the fact that now they are all on the same level in terms of fitness. He can he can rotate and still win games. He can rely on some players and win games. Tomorrow against Atletico Madrid, Barca will be having Rafinha and Kubasi back. If it was in the previous season, I'm sure they would have been forced to play these guys because they had to play them, because if they don't play them, they
Yes,
probably losing the points.
yes.
But they can still play without these guys. He can drop Lewandowski and play Olmo
Ferran
and
Torres.
Ferran
Yes.
Torres. So many dynamics, and his work is perfectly. And you see, in the initial stages of the season, we didn't people didn't understand, why do you play Eric Garcia? Why do you play Tony
I was one of
Fernandez?
them.
Yeah, and he knew what was he knew that at this time he would need Gerard Martin to be starting games when Bad is fatigued. He would need Ferran to be starting games when Rafinha is fatigued, and now he's getting the results. So I'm so glad that we are at this point, and that's why for me I'm really confident about the season. Again, the matches are piling up, but he still keeps on delivering. And when it comes to the press conference, he's not intimidated.
Mm.
He's unfazed about other things that are happening, and it's very important. Now let's talk about the what you mentioned about the strength outweighing the weaknesses. Obviously, if you are playing with a high line, with your players high up the pitch, suffocating your opponent, you definitely have some situations that you have to run back and balls will be behind you. But I don't know what would be your explanation for. But for me, I think that it's because he gives his team chance of scoring more goals. So he intends to outscore you. So by the time you think that you have a chance of scoring Barca or beating Barca, you are
Yes,
already 3-0 down or 2-0 down. That alone
yes,
is a
yes.
morale. It diminishes your morale in the game. and the fact that will back this is the goals they've scored. They've scored
The goals.
four more
It's true.
goals in 20 games this season.
30 games.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
incredible. And 82 goals in La Liga this season.
La
They've
Liga.
created 92 chances. So by the time you think you have a chance, they have already scored two.
We scored like
So
3.
yeah, so they are always ahead of you. I don't know what you make of how
Yeah.
what the explanation is in terms
Flick,
of
Flick as a
their
coach, you
strength and
look at
weakness.
his Flick as a coach, you look at his profile. You know he's an all attacking minded coach, even way back from yes. So he sets up in such a way that he would score more than you would score. And then looking at his career, he is not so conversant or so pragmatic. He's not pragmatic, and then he doesn't even care whether you would get a goal. All what he wants to get is to get more goals, more than you. But one thing that he has improved in Barcelona is that at least we keep clean sheets. There are some days that we keep
Yeah,
clean sheets, so that's
yeah.
an upgrade on Flick himself. That's an upgrade of he has found the right balance in keeping clean sheets in that high line system that he plays. And then you see, Xavi was more like a pragmatic coach. There were some games that Xavi would just play the ball and then get a goal and then win 2-1 and those things. But Flick, because of his attacking minded attacking minded uh, option, so he really goes in to get more goals than you.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's he is always looking forward to how he can score goals, how he can attack his opponent, what can he do best. And one thing again that he's done is getting the best out of all these players, making them more effective with their strength. For example, Rafinha, someone we didn't want to see on the left hand side. In fact, we didn't want to see him because on the right, Lamine Yamal is far better than him in terms of
Far better.
creating chances. Yeah,
Creating.
and play him on the left. Javi started that, and so it meant that he will had to be finishing the chances. But how effective was it? We didn't really get it. But the confidence is giving the guy. Now he's out of the world. He's playing a Ballon d'Or season for Barcelona.
Yes.
That is incredible. Lewandowski, again, you mentioned last season under Xavi, he had a lot of responsibility in terms of helping up with the build up and creating chances. I think that now he doesn't really have that responsibility. He's always in the box and finishing the chances, finding himself at the last post.
That's all.
That is what Flick has done in. And if and another player is Bardi, because he's
Yes.
so good on the ball, he's very fast. When Bardi has, if you realize, when Bardi has the ball and there's a break, he doesn't pass it. He
He
doesn't pass
doesn't
the ball.
pass.
He's just driving forward and creating chances out of it. And one thing that's very very crucial, you know that all the outfield players have scored a goal this season.
Yes.
All of them
All
have
of them.
scored a goal. All of them have scored a goal.
All
It's
of them.
it's 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 incredible. So
Even those
let's
at the
not
bench,
dwell.
like all of them, like all of them.
All of them have scored. All of them have scored a goal. All of them have scored a goal. Let's
Garcia,
now.
like all of them. Apart from,
It's
I
it.
think Bernard. Did Bernard score before getting injured?
Yeah, yeah. He did.
He did.
He did. He did. And
Wow.
it's very very incredible. It tells you how well drilled the team is and the mental fortitude of the team. Now there's no looking back. I don't think so. Let's dwell briefly
No.
on the individual performances. Um,
Okay.
Obviously, Lamine Yamal. Well, what the
Uh-huh.
season is hard. For me, I think we shouldn't judge him now. We He's outperforming his age. So maybe after
Yes, but you
21,
know, but football is unfair. once you are wearing a jersey on the field, you're
Yeah,
expected to
yeah.
look at when he wasn't scoring. Look at the pressure that they were mounting on him. Like when he wasn't scoring, like they said since October he's not scored in La Liga. And you see,
But you
like
see,
once he's wearing a jersey on the field,
I think
the pressure is going to pile up on him.
I think he has a problem, especially in the box
It is finishing.
when he has to finish
Mm.
chances. He's so bad at that. But the very interesting thing is that outside the box, he's so good. He can create magic out of anything. He's he, he's an interesting player, but I certainly think that he will grow into the game. He will find a way to match his performances with, or match his goals and assists with the performance that he's giving us. He just has to enjoy the game. That's what I mean. We
Yeah.
know that he will come to the party. And briefly, in the goal post, another interesting thing happening there. Watching the test, watching Chesney, Unaki Pena, and I mean, again another decision Flick took and very
From Flick,
controversial.
yes, he was
But
spot on.
but yeah,
We didn't
when
and we, we didn't understand what Flick was doing. I was part like I was like, no, Pena is doing well, but then I think one thing that Flick wanted was a shot stopper in the
yeah
pool. He needed a shot stopper because definitely if teams are struggling to beat us, they would put things out. And we've seen old videos of Testegen, and then some people are criticizing him on some of his. Yes, I know, but Chesney came out of retirement, experienced, and now he has even worked on his control on the ball. He's now composed
yeah
on the ball.
yeah yeah.
He's now back to match fitness, and then we've seen a glimpse of him dribbling players on the field. And then for an OG like that, that wouldn't be expected from him. And then he's just keeping things safe and things simple in the post. And I believe he's the man to lead us to the UCL finals.
17 games unbeaten.
Clean sheets.
I think he's had nine
Mm-hmm.
clean sheets,
Clean sheets.
and he's won 9 out of, sorry, 12 games. It's
12.
amazing for Chesney. And again, what you said about the decision, it was quite weird because I mean his first 2 games were so bad, but then when I went into it, I found out that look, Flick is looking at in this length. I mean in the latter part of the season, who would be the best person to be in the post, especially when Barca are in the semi-finals of the Champions League, in the Copa del Rey. Chesney is experienced. He has a higher ceiling than Inaki Pena. So why don't you give him the minutes now? Let him make the mistakes. He'll correct them. He'll
Right.
build the confidence, and he's so confident that he's he's just smiling in the goalpost like nothing is happening. Especially in the Benfica game, that we were really
Yeah.
under pressure. He was so calm and he delivered for us. Now the debate is if Ter Stegen is back. I mean, obviously he's now back doing some on-field training. Should he replace Chesney?
No. No. There is this adage that goes, if it is not broken, you don't fix it. And yes. Why do you have to replace him? Because Chesney is on top of his game now. And then when Testegen comes, he would need a lot of matches to come back or bounce back to match fitness. And then looking at the crucial time of the season, every match is a final. We have about 16 to 17 games to win the treble. And what time are you going to give Ter Stegen? In what game are you going to give Ter Stegen that chance to bounce back to match fitness? So I believe if anything at all, maybe we can give some league matches to Ter Stegen, and then but for the crucial matches in the UEFA Champions League, Stegen is on top of his game, and he himself is poised to win because he has not won the UEFA Champions League.
Champions
He's
League.
been to
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 finals, and then he sees this as an opportunity for him. So I think
What?
he needs it more than Barcelona. He really needs it
Yeah.
more than Barcelona.
Yeah. What
Yes.
what
So
what
he's
a
going
story
in
it
all
would
out
be.
for it. Yes,
What a
he's
story
going
it would
all
be.
out for it, and then
Yeah.
it will be
Coming.
so unfair. To be so unfair to actually deregister him and then register Ter Stegen in the Champions League.
It will
It
be
wouldn't really make sense.
a fascinating story. Coming back from
Yes,
retirement and winning the
retirement.
Champions League,
Yes.
it's going to be incredible. I mean, I think that yeah, he should keep it. The counter argument will be Real Madrid, Courtois came back and Courtois came to
Yes.
replace Milani and everyone. But
We are not Real
I mean,
Madrid.
no, you're not Real Madrid. Chesney is a better goalkeeper
Yes.
than Rooney, and
Yes.
he's very very experienced. I mean, I think he's underrated. He's so underrated. He's a very very good goalkeeper, and the performances he's giving us is quite debatable between him and Ter Stegen in recent seasons. Ter Stegen has been quite questionable, so
Yes.
I think it's fair that he keeps his post. Sally, we're wrapping up soon. So now it's getting the crucial moments are coming on Wednesday. Atletico Madrid to play Real Betis, and then the Champions League
Okay.
quarterfinal first leg Dortmund. The games are coming.
Dortmund.
Yeah, they have a point 3 points lead ahead of Madrid in the Spanish La Liga with 9 games to go. There's still the El Clasico to come. What's your feeling like? Do you think we are winning the treble this season?
Yeah. I honestly feel yes, we can. And then I could tell Flick has started preparing for that achievement. Even looking at how he's managing the guys, and then back in the weekend he benched some players and then brought in Fermin Lopez and the likes of Pablo Torre. I see Flick preparing Pablo Torre for subsequent games in La Liga. Looking at the way the games are coming thick and fast, and then you need Pedri to rest sometimes. You need some couple of players to rest sometimes, and all of a sudden Gavi is also getting back to his usual self, and it's really good. And you know, Fermin Lopez, he's always ready to go on the field and then fight for the badge, and then this actually helps us. This is really helping us. So I believe we can win the treble. Looking at how things are going, unless something happens like what happened in in Rome and then Anfield, and then of which I'm not sure. Looking at the mentality of these players, and then look at the goalkeeper in post. Things like this doesn't scare him. Situations like this doesn't scare him. Look at Inigo Martinez; he's always ready. And then in crucial times that Kubasi is suffering, I know Araujo will come in and then come and help. Balde is on top of his game. Kunde is on top of his game. Pedri, obviously, people have started telling and people have started saying that yes, he should be also part of that Ballon d'Or conversation. And look at the form that Pedri is in. Ferran Torres is up there. Rafinha, top Lewandowski, which is experience. So I believe in no Barcelona is going to win the treble.
I think it really depends on what will happen this month, especially tomorrow. I mean, we're playing Atletico Madrid. For them, I think that after that revenge on them in the La Liga, we now have the hands on them. We can we can
Exactly.
keep them shut up. Yeah. So I mean, tomorrow if we will win, then they're on course. And one thing that winning gives us is the morale.
Morale.
It you forget how to lose a game, and so it really depends on this one. La Liga, I think is sealed. We win the La Liga, and if we qualify Copa del Rey final, probably Real Madrid again in the final, and we'll
Give it
do it
to
to
them.
them again. We'll do it to them again. The
Yes.
Champions League, I think that for there we need to have the players available. We need to have Lamine Yamal available. We need to have Kubasi available. We need to have
Omo.
Pedro available
Every
and Rafinha.
player.
If we are missing these guys, I think it's very tricky for us. Very tricky because you can be the better team, but some things can happen and you lose it. So they have to really keep their fitness, and the path that we are on is very favorable as well. Maybe Inter Milan for
Mm.
me, they are the ones I fear, but I still think
Yes.
that this Barca team are capable. They are capable
Yes.
of beating teams, anything in the world. So we'll see how it goes. Your final words, Kwamina, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, we just want to see a consistent performance from the lads, and then an injury-free. We need all the players available. We need all the players available, And I'm so super glad that Christensen is also coming back. And then we already have Dijon at his best. So
Lots of
things are
competition
going
there.
to go well. Yes, yes. We have a lot of competition at hand, at our disposal. And then that's the headache of the coach. And I know Flick is a big gun, so he would know how to manage the guys and then bring out the best in them.
Charlie, right now, Ansu Fati 2 is it's another difficult
Charlie,
situation for him.
Charlie, this
It's
season
sad.
there before this season, Fati should relax this season and then get a proper preseason with Flick. If he's going to stay, he should get a
Yeah,
proper preseason with because he cannot chase these games. Looking at the way the games are coming thick and fast. First of all, his availability would be a problem because we
yeah.
are not sure he could go injury free till the end of that. That's one thing that Flick is. I'm sure Flick is always scared or afraid to bring him on because looking at the way he's coming, Flick has been saying he's been doing quite well in training and then they are monitoring. So what I would suggest for Fatih himself is to stay calm and then relax. He should relax and then get a proper preseason. That's what I think Christensen is also going to do. They will all relax and then get a proper preseason under Flick. And then hopefully they turn things around next season. Well, look at Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia was in preseason. And then now look at him. I remember our first CCL game,
Yeah,
we started him. Yeah. So they should all relax and then after this season, after the treble, after we win the treble, and things will go on well for them
it will be a
coming
special,
next
yeah,
season.
special me. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Charlie, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks so much for your time today, and big ups to all the
You're
Barca
welcome.
fans out there. Hopefully, we win the treble this season, and it will be
Treble.
another incredible season for
Sure.
us. We'll meet again. Thanks.
Sure. You're welcome.